Hello YouTube, this is Froogle and here we are with the first video on the flight from London Gatwick to Rome. Now this is actually a British Airways virtual flight that I'm doing, which means that those guys, the virtual airline, are tracking me. There is an ACARS running which is tracking every aspect of this flight to make sure I do everything correctly and that I'm not lying about anything, which is very, very cool. Now incidentally, you'll notice the 737 here looks a little bit different. This is British Airways virtual 737-800 configuration. British Airways don't actually fly 737-800s yet. They fly 737-400s and they don't have all the wonderful toys that we have in the 800s. So if I pop outside for a second, you'll notice that there are no winglets over here. And back in the cockpit here, it's pretty basic. I have an analog standby attitude indicator, analog dials down here. This main display down here is missing. My autopilot, MCP, sorry, is very, very basic. Not at all like the standard PMDG 737-800. So it makes things a little bit more interesting from a pilot's point of view. And that's really British Airways Virtual dumbing this down somewhat to make it more like the real thing. Now let me talk through one of the things I wanted to do in this. In the last video we looked at flight planning with FS Build, with Top Cat and all that good stuff. In this video you're going to see all of Froogle's toys. So you're going to see how I normally fly. The only difference between what you're seeing right now and how I normally do stuff is that normally my cockpit would be spread across 3 screens and obviously I can only record 1. The other, I guess, difference is normally I would fly with track IR, but I have to turn my head quite a lot when I'm flying on my own, and that doesn't make for a good video. So track IR is off, and we're using Easy Dock, which I have covered in another video. Please don't ask questions about what's the camera thing. It's called Easy Dock. Go look it up. Just pan around the views and do all this good stuff. Okay. Outside the scenery, this is UK Horizons UK 2000 Gatwick Extreme scenery. It's pretty beefy. I have traffic turned on. I have weather turned on. The textures are being provided by Rex. The weather engine is Active Sky. So far that's all the toys running on this computer. Nothing too serious. The serious bit is the rest of the sim is actually running on a different computer. So let's just jump over here. Okay. So this is an equally beefy computer sat beside my main computer that is doing a ton of stuff. So first of all, it's got my flight plan up. I'm flying British Airways Virtual, so this is what they're giving me from the dispatch office. There's the suggested route down there, which I've already run through FS Build, as you saw in the last video. There's my cost index, who I'm carrying, and all that good stuff. I fed all that into FS Build, which is also running on computer number 2. That gave me my weights and fuel I'm going to be using en route, which then get fed into Top Cat, which calculates my weights and balances, takeoff configuration, all that good stuff. I incidentally found out that this button, Payload Distribution, if you click on this button, it shows you where the cargo needs to get loaded, which is a question I asked in the last video, and one of you was very, very kind enough to point that out to me. Thank you so much. The scary bits come in that this computer is also controlling weather. So here's Active Sky running. I am using a flight plan. It is aware of my flight plan. It has planned out the weather based on accurate weather when this flight was flown earlier this morning from Gatwick to Rome. Lots of cloud, except to Gatwick right now, which is actually quite clear. It's a clear, cold winter's day. So we have all of that going on. That's Active Sky. That's running all my weather, all my winds aloft and stuff like that. The other tool that we have running is this one. This is Avlasoft EFB. Now, many modern airliners like the 777 have an EFB on board. Pilots use it to hold their charts and stuff. The EFB is the electronic version. Obviously, it has my charts and things like that, but it also has a lot more information. You'll see that when we start flying. The sim is currently paused, so you can't really see anything, but it's got a map of the airport here. It will show me the other aircraft. I can use this to plan my route to taxi. Up in the air, it will show me other aircraft as well. It shows me frequencies I can tune to, but it also helps in final phases of flight planning, which is what we're going to do in a few seconds, because there is still one other application not running right now, and I'm kind of dreading running this on a live video, but here goes. That would be this. This is the terrifying radar contact, which is a simulation of proper ATC. Now, I say simulation, it's got some quirks. One of the quirks it has with the 737 is it likes you to descend like a rocket, which you can't do in a 737, so sometimes things get out of sync and this guy starts pitching me out. Other than that, though, it's very, very realistic. I guess the other things you need to be aware of, it doesn't like SIDs and stars, you know, standard instrument departures and standard terminal arrivals. So for the SID, I can tell this, I'll do it right now. I can load up my flight plan that I've got exported from FS Build. We are actually on the right computer. It's my X drive. So we'll open up that flight plan. Here it goes. Now I've got to set in all my controller info, my flight info. I'm telling it that I am flying a flexible departure routine, flexible departure procedure, which is a SID, and it has altitude restrictions. Radar contact is still going to clear me straight up to a high altitude. Okay, we'll let it do that. But it will ignore me for the first 30 miles. So that gives me another thing to be aware of in the cockpit. I need to look 30 miles along my route, and before I reach that 30 miles, I need to be telling radar contact, hey, I'm here and I want to go there. Otherwise, it's going to get upset and say I'm off route and cause all sorts of problems. So we have that. I am flying at flight level 390 on this route because of the winds. Normally you'd fly 410, but the winds are pretty strong up there. General stuff, this is where we put in all my flight information. So I think my flight number, let me go to my notes. You see there's a ton of apps running on this other computer here, is 2540. So Speedbird 2540. We are going to hear some AI chatter from the other aircraft. In fact, I will turn that off. I don't really want them interfering too much with the video. I just want to hear them talking to me. But you can turn that on. You can hear pre-recorded chatter. It's incredibly realistic if you do that. I'm going to leave it off for now. And so with all that done, I click on Run. This will now connect over the network to FSX. Let me jump back into the FSX cockpit over here. And you will see a menu appear. There it is. That's my radar contact menu. So this is going to give me access to radar contact for clearance, delivery, for weather, and all that good stuff, which is where we need to be right now. Before I dive in, the route that I got from British Airways Virtual does not have a SID and a star, but it does have waypoints which are at the beginning and the end of SIDs and stars. So we need to check the weather now. We need to find out which runway is in use, and then we need to start selecting a SID, a standard instrument departure, which ends at the waypoint that I've got. And on the terminal arrival, British Airways Virtual is like British Airways. They have standard operating procedures for every airport they go to. We are flying down to Rome. If I grab my third computer here, which has documents on it, alright, our standard operating procedure is that we prefer landing on runway 16 left unless the winds are crazy. They're not crazy, so I am going to be telling radar contact when we approach Rome, runway 16 left, and I'll program up the SID and the star right now, assuming runway 16 left. In fact, we'll do that in flight. You'll see that in flight. Okay, so let me unpause the sim. Alright, there's the engines. I can turn it down. It's very, very loud in my ears. First thing we're going to get is a weather briefing.
London Gatwick, local ATIS information.
There it is.
Kilo, winds 290 at 4, visibility 10 kilometers or more, clouds scattered 800, temperature 7, 2.6, QNH 1009, landing and departing runway 26 left, advised delivery, you have information, Kilo.
Alright, so let's turn him off. Now he was saying runway, actually, I think it was 27 left, hang on, let me check. I'm fairly sure it's runway 27 left. And I currently have selected runway 8 right, which is a problem. He's gone away. Let's bring him back. Come on, son.
London Gatwick, local ATIS information, Kilo, winds 290 at 4, visibility 10 kilometers or more, clouds scattered 800, temperature 7, 2.6, QNH 1009, landing and departing, runway 26 left, advised delivery, you have information, Kilo.
26 left, okay, not a problem. Kind of a strange runway. Let me bring this up once again. Take a look here. Get off. So, departures and arrivals. Departing. Oh, yeah. Right, it is. Runway 26 left. Okay, so what we do now is we go back over to the other computer and we go to the EFB. So here we are again. And what I can look at now is departure. So I am here. Now this has picked me up already. If I go back to the ground view, there I am. There are the other aircraft at this airport right now. There's one taxiing for takeoff. So we go to departure. Zoom out a little bit. I need something that ends at Bognor. So what I can do is I can click on this and I can say give me a SID overview departing south. And there we go. The Bognor 1M.
I have your load and balance
hang on a sec.
for you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Captain. Have a nice
Alright,
flight.
that gets rid of him.
See you later. Bye.
So that would be the SID that we want to use. Bognor 1M from runway 26 left. So we can actually program that in over here on the EFB so that it tracks us on that. So 26 left, Bogner 1M, select, activate. Alright, so now it's actually showing us the equivalent of a chart. Let me turn off tracking. So I need to be 5,000 feet at this waypoint, 6,000 feet at this waypoint. I've got my VORs and the radials to be on, the distances on those radios. I can use all that now to program up the FMC in the plane. So back over into the cockpit. So runway 26 left, Bogner 1N, select, execute. We're good. It's deleting my takeoff speeds, which it should do. So V1, the dump, execute, great. And let's go look at my departure and arrival. We've already know that we want to go on runway 16 left over here. I also know from our standard procedures for British Airways Virtual that for that runway we have an arrival that we like to use, which is that one. So I'm going to select that, execute. Now if I'm lucky, I had a problem with this earlier. There we go, LNAV's activating, VNAV's activating. We are golden. So let me just check on my takeoff speeds are good. 141, 141, yep. So we're good. Ignoring the star for the moment because that is going to change later on when we're in flight. But we're all set. FMC is all set up. MCP is all set up. EFIS is all set up. So I think we are good. So with that done, with 7 minutes to go before pushback, now would be a great time to go and speak to the guys at clearance and get clearance to take off. Well, oh no, there is something I've missed. Having keyed in the star, sorry, the SID, we need to check our routes. So here's our route. Okay, there are no discontinuities, or is there? Yes, there is. There's a disco right there. Let's pull that up. Let it calculate. It seems to have calculated just fine. We are going to hit the Bogner waypoint, which is what radar contact is expecting us to hit. So around about, well, how far away is Bogner? 9 miles? Oh, I should be alright. I actually should be alright. I might not even have to speak to radar contact and convince it of something different, which would be novel. Okay, with all that done, we need to check on everything. So looking at the EFB right now, it says waypoint 1 to waypoint 2, I should be at 3,000 feet. At 3,000, there it is. Waypoint 3, I should be at 5,000. Well, that's actually not at 5,000, so we need to put that in. At 5,000. Oh no, I'm sorry. That's at or above 3,000, which is actually correct. Now that's wrong. So let me fix that. That should be dead on 5,000, not the A, which would mean at or above, or B, which means below. Good. The next waypoint is 6,000, which is good. So we are all golden. Let's put in some. Looking at the AFB right now, I'm going to grab you back over here, just to cross-check everything. We know that this waypoint right here is on radial 177 from OC, Oscar Charlie Kilo, 13 miles. We'll put that in as a fix so we can cross-check. So OCK, put that in, and we said radial 177 at 13 miles. Put that in. Good. Now we have a fix which is going to cross-check our position. We will also set the radios up here, and I know looking at the EFB that that is on 115.3. So let's just go and key all this up here. Key this down here, 115.3, and the radial is 177. So I'm going to be using my analog displays here again just to cross-check everything that's going on. Make sure the needle is pointing where it should be pointing when we turn on waypoint 2. Now again, because of how this is configured for British Airways Virtual, I'm not going to be able to activate the autopilot until I'm about 1,500 feet off the ground. So I have to fly it up to that, following the flight director's prompts, which is going to be interesting as well. But I think overall we're good to go. Now when I started up radar contact on the other computer, you saw me loading a flight plan. That lets me now speak to them and ask for clearance based on that flight plan. So here we go.
Delivery, Speedbird 2540, ready for clearance to Rome Fiumicino with Kilo.
Speedbird 2540, cleared to Rome Fiumicino via published departure procedures. Then, as filed, climb to altitude 5,000 feet, squawk 2416, departure frequency 129.02.
Okay, so I can read back all of that.
Cleared to Rome Fiumicino via published departure procedures, then as filed. Climb to altitude 5,000 feet, squawk 2416, departure 129.02, Speedbird 2540.
Speedbird 2540. Read back correct.
Okay, so now they're just going to sit patiently and wait for me to ask for pushback and start, which we will then hand over to FS to crew to handle the pushback and start. That's the other add-on I guess I missed, but FS to crew is handling all my voice communications with my co-pilot. It's not built-in feature of the PMDG 737. So let's just speed
Hi,
this
Captain.
up a little bit.
The cabin is ready to go.
Thank you.
If you need anything,
Before-
just let me know.
Before start procedure.
Check.
Now I've muted that. The other thing the EFB does is give me checklists. So if we pop back over to the EFB screen here, I can run up the checklists. I can click on before start, and there's my before start checklist, which I can walk through with FS to crew right now. So back over to the cockpit.
I'm ready for the checklist.
Before start checklist.
Flight deck door.
Closed and locked.
Fuel.
Checked.
Passenger signs.
Checked.
Windows.
Locked.
MCP.
V2 141. Heading 260. Altitude 5,000.
Takeoff speeds.
V1 136. VR 137. V2 141.
CDU pre-flight.
Completed.
Rudder and aileron trim.
3 and 0.
Taxi and takeoff briefing.
Completed.
Anti-collision light.
Checked.
Before start checklist complete.
Okay, so with that then we're ready for pushback and start. So what I need to do is go over to my other computer here and just turn on the flight tracking system for British Airways Virtual. Now it's picked up my sim, it knows I'm parked, engines off, we're ready to go. So back in the cockpit now, we will ask for pushback and start. Here we go.
Ground, Speedbird 2540 at the ramp, ready to push.
Speedbird 2540, clear to push. Start at your discretion. Contact ground when you're ready. On 121.8.
Ground on 121.8, Speedbird 2540.
Okay, now down here, let's speak to the ground crew. Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead.
We are ready for pushback and main engine start.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed and the pin has been inserted. Please release the brakes.
Brakes released.
Roger, Captain, push back and you are clear to start all engines.
Start sequence is 2, then 1.
Check.
Start engine 2.
Starting number 2.
Beautiful scenery. The UK 2000 Gatwick scenery is phenomenal. Every taxiway, every building, it's great. Let's wait for starter cutout, which will be this one here. We'll click back.
Starter cutout.
Start engine 1.
Starting number 1.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board today. This is your courtesy. Please direct your attention to the cabin crew for important safety. There is an instruction card in the cockpit that illustrates the safety equipment on board the aircraft. Regulations require
I
compliance
think my pushback went a little bit too far. I'm nearly on the grass, but that's okay.
with the lighted information signs pulling on the belt. To reduce this effect,
I actually did this the other day and I had to turn off ground vehicles for this video because I got run over by a bus. I was reversing and some bus just collided straight into the left wing. Not cool. There we go.
Okay, push is complete. Set brakes. Please.
Starter cutout.
Brakes set.
Thank you, Captain. The trouble and pin have been removed, and I'll see you on the left-hand side with the pin.
You are cleared to disconnect and go to hand signals.
Okay, everything looks good down here. Have a nice flight.
Flaps 5.
Check.
Alright, so with all that done, let's go back over to the EFB here. What we can do now, I'm going to use the next checklist, obviously in a minute, this one right here. But before that, look, we're on the ground. I can center my view on the aircraft, which is here. We are going runway 26 left, which is here. So, the way that's going to work, I've lost my plane now, I'm up here, is we're going to come down here, we're going to go Romeo, Quebec, Juliet. In fact, no, we're not. Romeo, Quebec.
I'm ready for the checklist.
No, we are going to go Romeo. Yeah, Romeo, Alpha November, all the way up here, Alpha November, to the holding point for runway 26 left, and then we are good to go. Kind of an interesting taxi. You can actually go in here and set in the taxi route, but it doesn't always work with add-on scenery, so I'm not going to try my luck here. We just need to make sure when we get here we turn right, then go down Romeo, so we're not colliding with aircraft that are coming into park at this point. Alright, back into the cockpit. Let's bring up my checklist actually, by the way. Before taxi checklist.
Generators.
Checked.
Probe heat.
Checked.
Anti-ice.
Off.
Isolation valves.
Auto.
Engine start switches.
Continuous.
Recall.
Checked.
Auto brake.
RTO.
Engine start levers.
Idle detent.
Flight controls.
Checked.
Ground equipment.
Clear.
Before taxi checklist complete.
Clear on the left.
Clear on the right.
Alright, let's go speak to radar control, radar contact.
Ground Speedbird 2540 is with you at the ramp. Request taxi.
Speedbird 2540 ground. Taxi holding point runway 26 left QNH 1009er.
Alright, nothing's changed there then.
Runway 26 left QNH 1009er Speedbird 2540.
Alright, so brakes released, put some power on. Try not to wobble all over the taxiway, which I normally do. Whoops. Gave it a little bit too much gas there, auto throttle disarmed. Which is another quirk actually of this configuration of the 737. You need to be very careful with that throttle. Flip it around too much, it will simply disarm. And normal taxiing speed is about 15 knots ground speed. You can see the ground speed down there. We're currently at 10. Obviously for turning you need to be 10 or less. Otherwise the passengers get all concerned, start screaming. Some of them complain, write nasty letters. It's never good. Incidentally, the ACARS system is still tracking me right now and reporting to British Airways Virtual. If you go and Google British Airways Virtual, by the way, they have a website, of course. One of the things you'll find on that website is live ACARS, so you can see any of the pilots in British Airways Virtual when they're flying, where they are, what they're flying,
Yes,
current flight
okay,
conditions.
thanks.
It's pretty cool.
Captain, the cabin is secure.
Thank you. Alright, let's see if we can pick up a bit of speed here. Go back over to my EFB. I got to turn right down here according to the EFB onto Romeo, just to stay out of the way of incoming aircraft, because there are incoming aircraft. Coming up on the turn now, we're going to be heading over there, which is actually towards the fire station at Gatwick.
Speed
now
156 set.
Let me turn off the mic there. The speed should be 142. That's the problem with recording and speaking. Alright. I have been flying online a lot with VATSIM. VATSIM, for those of you that don't know, once you get very heavily into Flight Simulator, is an online network of air traffic controllers. And so you join on that and you no longer have AI traffic, you have real traffic who are other pilots, covers the whole world, and you're dealing with real people, which are sometimes very hard to understand, who are handling your flights, departure, delivery, ground operations and so on. It's incredibly intimidating. I will do a video on it. But I got enough computers recording stuff right now, I wanted to keep it fairly simple. It's a beautiful day here, a little bit crisp and cold. Gonna have to watch the icing conditions if we go through any of those clouds. Once we get above a few thousand feet, it is going to be 0 or sub-zero. And standard practice when you're entering an icing condition like clouds is obviously to turn anti-ice on. Oh look, there's a couple of guys stood hanging around by the fire station on the right there. See them? Over there. Wave. Okay, I actually can't turn on to AN. There isn't a turn to do so, but I can turn here. And then we'll pick up taxiing towards the hold in a little while. On these taxiway lines, you're supposed to follow them. So you can't just take a hard 90-degree turn, you need to follow the curves. I do, however, need to be careful of that jet in front of me. They don't always do what they're supposed to do. So it's actually not this next turning on the right that I'm going to take, it's the one after that, which is pretty much where he is. I'm going to do what he's doing. Looks like I'm number 2 for takeoff. Yeah, while we're busy doing this, let's go speak to the first officer. Before takeoff checklist.
Flaps.
Flaps 5, green light.
Stabilizer trim.
Set.
Before takeoff checklist complete.
Alright, so that's him shut up for a bit.
Cabin crew, take your seats.
I always find it a little bit more intimidating taxiing with other aircraft around.
254, contact tower.
Here we go.
134.22.
134.22, Speedbird 2540.
Tower on 134.22, Speedbird 2540. Tower Speedbird 2540, ready for departure. Runway 26 left.
Speedbird 2540, Tower, your number 24, departure.
Hence the bloody great jet in front of me.
Roger, Speedbird 2540.
A little bit off the taxiway there. Thank goodness it's only a sim before people start leaving me the hate comments. Now I don't want to be directly behind this guy. I'm looking for my holding point. Auto throttle's gone again. Stop that. Oh, actually, he's joining the runway in a strange position. So I'm going to skip past him. He's actually a very strange position. I'm sure he knows what he's doing. That'll teach you to follow strangers. Looking at the EFB, this is the correct position. Alright, and this is our whole point.
2540 tower, runway 26 left, line up and wait.
Line up and wait, Speedbird 2540.
Runway 26 left, roger, Speedbird 2540.
Runway entry procedure.
Check. Ready to go.
Oops. Radar contact screwed up a little bit there, I think. Shouldn't be sitting immediately behind a big ass jet on the runway, but okay. First time I've seen that happen.
Pacifica 7214 tower, winds, car, runway 26 left, cleared for takeoff.
Cleared for takeoff.
There we go. I just turned the sounds on so we can hear what's going on.
706, can you move forward and hold in the corner facing east, please?
Tower, orbit 61503, mile, final, runway 26 left. Orbit 6150, tower, winds 250 at 4. Roger, orbit 6150.
Alright, this is going to be a fast takeoff. I've got to follow this guy, and there's another guy coming in behind me. I don't know why radar contact is screwed up completely.
2006, tower, runway 26 left, line up and wait.
Runway 26 left, roger, Pacifica 2006.
Speedbird 500 when they're through, pull out on the right and line up 27 right.
Going to get out of the way of the aircraft he just told to line up. So that probably actually was the right line-up's point, and that was
Speed
Froogle screwing up.
2540, winds 295 at 4, runway 26 left, cleared for takeoff.
Cleared for takeoff, Speedbird
Cleared
2540.
for takeoff, Speedbird 2540.
Lufthansa 4611 after British Airways 767.
Takeoff.
On your left-hand side, departs, line up 27 right.
Takeoff.
Check.
Ah.
80 knots.
Check.
V1. Rotate.
Sabina 6, hotel contact London 120,
You're up.
52.
2052, signal Pele.
Gear up, lights out.
Speed 2540, contact departure 129.02.
Over to departure 129.02.
Select Command A.
Departure,
Command
Speedbird
A.
2540 is with you, leaving 1,600 feet or 5,000 feet.
Speedbird 2540, departure, radar contact, climb,
Flaps one.
flight level
Flaps
150.
Climb, flight level 150, Speedbird 2540.
Good afternoon, Shamrock 854 with you, leveling 4,000 feet, heading 140, information Lima. Camel Cape 5410, good afternoon. Continue heading 140, vectors to the ILS runway 28. Your number 1, Lima is current 1028, the QNH.
Flaps up.
Flaps.
Thank you, 1028, continue on the heading Camel Cape 54.
Alright, so we're in the air. Command A is now taken over. Just monitoring the aircraft now.
Steps, good afternoon, Ruben 314, passing 1,600, 3,000 pound, over to takeoff.
After takeoff checklist.
314, hello, full code and maintain altitude 3,000 feet on reaching. Turn right heading 140.
Up.
Heading 3,000 feet on reaching, right heading 140 without a Ruben 314.
Golf Zulu Victor traffic for you, a Robinson helicopter, 12 o'clock,
Nice
2
little traffic
2.5
warning there.
miles, right to left, last known at 15.
If you pop back over to the EFB right now, you can see the other traffic on the EFB.
It was indeed, sir.
So here we are. We turn on
Camel
traffic.
Cape 54, descend altitude.
There they are. There's the other aircraft.
Descend 3,000 feet, Camel Cape 54. Top Cat 01, traffic information for you, a Cessna 172, 10 o'clock to now, range about 4 miles, crossing your track left to right, 1,600 feet.
That's copy, ma'am, we're steady at 14.
Golf Zulu Victor, are you turning towards Biggin?
Negative, I'm just keeping Biggin and the other traffic still on my left.
Roger, that's understood. Golf Zulu Victor traffic for you, northwest of you by 4 miles and inbound. Ruben 314, turn left heading 110.
Left heading 110, Ruben 314.
Camel Cape 54, turn right heading 180, base.
Right at 180, Camel Cape 54.
Alright, so that's about it for the departure. I'm just going to let this thing fly now, and radar contact will be handing me from controller to controller, so I'm going to end this video. When we come back, it will be top of descent into Rome, which should be very interesting in a couple of hours' time. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I know a lot of you do like the 737 content, and please click that like button and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. As always, my name is Froogle. Catch you later. Bye.